Alright, I had a little preview going there. Hey everybody, hope you can hear me okay. It looks like I'm dialed in and going. So thanks for joining me this evening. I want to do a little Merry Christmas episode of Racing Roots with Hamm. If I can get my, you know what, I wonder if I can get this thing to work.
You feel like you're being watched. Hackers can see you.
I can't hear. Looks like the batteries are getting a little bit dead. Alright. I am Santa's elf. Hope y'all had a great day and a great week. It looks like it's getting closer to Christmas as we speak. So hopefully you got all of your Christmas shopping done. I know that I finally finished mine up, I guess about yesterday. I did most of mine online this year, and I did go shopping one day with my mom and my sister. So that worked out okay. We actually spent more time eating at the, where did we go? We went to the Olive Garden and got the bottomless salad and breadsticks. Oh, it's heavenly. So we ended up we spent more time there eating, I think, than we did shopping. And then, of course, they spent more time buying jewelry and things for themselves. But you know what? It's a good time to shop because everything is on sale this time of year. So yes, this is my funny elf hat, and I was gonna try that. I was gonna wear my Santa hat, and I thought, you know what? This one's actually, it's pretty cheerful, and it dances around too. So what's up, Rachel down in Charlotte, Dickie Dennis up in Virginia? Can y'all hear me okay? All of that. Paul says, David, that hat looks elfin good. That's a good one. I like that. And so here's my Jersey Cape Yachts sweatshirt representing. Oh, it's over here. See, in the camera, it's like over here. And I've got my Jersey Cape Yachts. This is actually the real deal. This is a Yeti. And I've got some Yerba Mate. Not to be confused with Herba Mate, that is. And yes, all it is Herba Mate, which is a form of tea. It's hot tea. And so my Yeti's keeping it nice and hot. So yes, I thought I would do a little impromptu, well, no, not really impromptu. I was supposed to do it last night, my regular chats, but it's been a little bit tough here lately. One thing is there's been some people, well, okay, y'all know how the COVID thing's going around. It seems to be spreading really quick. So I've become almost super paranoid here lately with my parents living with me downstairs. So I'm doing a little social distancing right now. And Tracy woke up with a fever Monday morning. So I'm like, all right, she went and got tested. I think she's okay and all that kind of stuff. Maybe she has the flu or something. Who knows? But she's doing fine. She's just been sleeping a lot. So what's up, Linda Jinx? And I believe, yeah, Brad Downard's on here. Brad, I've got your hat. I know you saw that last week. So what did y'all think about last week's episode with Doug Yates? That was pretty good, pretty great, I think it was. And I had a good time with Doug. Always have a good time with Doug. He's just a great guy all around. So hopefully y'all enjoyed that show. But I was curious too, what was your favorite episode this year so far? I mean, you know, I've had a lot of people in this year, so I'm just curious to hear your favorite episode. And if you're not on here, in other words, if you're rewatching or you're watching this video later, tomorrow, tonight, next week, next year, and you know what I'm talking about by my episodes, we're talking about Racing Roots with Hamm every Monday night, typically at 7 o'clock through the winter. In the summertime, I may switch it back over to 7:30. I'm not sure yet. But I have different crew members, different drivers, team owners, engine builders, and that kind of stuff every Monday night. So let me know what you think about that. Who was your favorite this year? And who would you like to see me get back on the show? I want to thank our sponsor, Jersey Cape Yachts. Actually, let me do my best Phil impersonation. I was going to say impersonation. Jersey Cape Yachts. Phil came over and we did a little bit of some sound bites. I haven't got that together yet, Phil. As you know, I had a pretty busy weekend, and with all this other stuff going on, Just had a lot of things going on. Yesterday I didn't get to do the show due to what I just talked about, some of the issues that I've had with my social distancing. But you know what? I decided I'm going to come on here and do it, keep it rolling, tell everybody Merry Christmas, and we'll get back on for next week. We'll do a Happy New Year episode. But for tonight, I want to do some prize giveaways and things. But do me a favor right quick. Share this video to your friends, because I didn't even have a good chance to share the video. So been extremely busy, so I didn't get around to doing that. So we can get some more people on here, but we're going to play a little game. I'm going to show you some little technical stuff. If you've ever heard of a distributor in a car ignition, what they used to run in NASCAR. And I meant to grab one that looks like what we run in NASCAR, and I may have to run over there and grab it. I may have to take a break and go grab that, so that I can give you a little bit more, technical, or closer to what we run used to run in NASCAR until we switched over to the EFI and all that kind of stuff, electronic ignition. And we're going to go over some of the different things that, Scott's game, and I'm going to show you what some of the prizes that I'm going to hand out. Whenever we play this game, I'm going to ask you a question. You tell me what the answer is, and then if you're a winner, I'm going to send you a prize in the mail. And I'll show you what the prize is here in just a minute. Well, this game, I believe he came out with it in about 1992, and it's called High Banks. And y'all know Scott as the Beer Man. So here's his game. It was High Banks. And I believe he ended up selling this to Felix Abatis, or somehow Felix got involved with it. So he ended up selling it. So but he still has some left. But what I want to do is ask some questions here in just a little bit. And then whenever you give me your answer, I want you to go on to my website, DHammiam.com. And the first thing that'll pop up is a little red box that says put your email in here. So click on that and go over and put your email in, and in the message box put your address so I can get these out in the mail to you. All right? Yeah, that'll be a good question. So these are all racing, NASCAR related questions. Scott come up with most of them, I do believe. So I think you'll have a good time with that. So, and if y'all, I also want to, I'm going to read some of your comments. So let's see, Rachel, that was awesome to talk to Doug. Yes, please ask him to come back if he can. I would say that could happen. I sent Rodney Childers a message the other day, so maybe he can come in here and hang out with us as well. Linda says, who is the guy that took the pictures at the racetrack? That was my favorite. That was my favorite so far. Well, guess what? Phil Cavalli. He is with us tonight. So yes, that was Phil. Where you at, Phil? I know you can see us. So get on here and tell Linda that was you. And yes, that was a great show. And since then, I've kind of figured out ways that I can actually pop the pictures up here on the screen for you and show them that way. But you know what? Phil was telling his stories, and so we didn't have a whole lot of preparation time, but that turned out really good. The pictures turned out good. I've already gone back through that video, and I may go ahead and pop that one back up at some point. Cut out some of the middle stuff and just do it where he tells the quick stories on his pictures, and then it switches to the next picture. I think that would be a really good one. Alright, so what's up, Keystone Corner? I believe that's Patrick up there, Patrick Jinks. And Merry Christmas to y'all. Doug has a bunch of good Christmas, bunch of stories, good stories, I'm sure. But Merry Christmas, everyone. Brad Dowdard says. Yep. And so let me see. The other thing I want to do is thank my sponsor, Jersey Cape Yachts, as I mentioned earlier. Jersey Cape Yachts. They're up in New Jersey, and we'll talk about them a little bit more here in just a bit. But let's go into this game right quick. So I'm going to ask y'all a question. Do y'all want to play a game? Do y'all want to play the Scott's game here? So you get these little cards with the game. And the little cards have the questions on them, obviously. And then the rest of the board game is like this. This is the rest of the board game. So you got a racetrack, and you move the piece around the racetrack. It's kind of cool because he's got the Sandwich Construction Company, and so that was a place down in Charlotte that we used to hang out at, off of was it North Tryon there, right near UNC Charlotte. He's right down the street from that. So when Kyle Petty did his first fight right across America, when he came back, he stopped at that Sandwich Construction Company. I think it was 1995. Yeah. And so he's got Mellow Yellow goodies and Simpson Race products on here. Black flag, you all know what that means. Crash. Free roll, meaning roll the dice. I just realized I don't think my game come with any dice. Of course, I had an open box, Scott. Remember that. All right, so the first question is, and remember this is for a prize, but you must go on to my website and put your email address and address so that I can send that to you. All right, which driver holds the record for the most consecutive starts at Talladega Super Speedway? What is your answer? I'm going to drink some of my Yerba Mate, not to be confused with Yerba Mate, as I said. So basically the first person to answer that question correctly would be the winner. Which driver holds the record for the most consecutive starts at Talladega Super Speedway? And I'll go ahead and answer this question too, because if I see, or ask this question, because if I see another answer and it's not that one, I'll know it's not a driver's name. True or false? Aluminum cylinder blocks are required in a stock car. True or false? Na, 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 na. If I had my harmonica, I could play that Jeopardy theme. Da, na, 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 na. Alright, what's your answer? Any answers? Okay, Dickie Dennis says Donnie Allison. Linda Jinks got it. It is Richard Petty. That is the correct answer. So you will go to my website, put in your information, and you will be a winner. And I'm trying to figure out who can write these winners down for me. Rachel, can you do that, please? And maybe Dickie or somebody that I typically message all the time. And Dickie Dennis says false. Yes, Dickie, you are correct. All right, so the first two winners are who won? Linda and Dickie Dennis. All right. All right, Patrick, are you answering the next question? All right, let's see what we got next. All right, what is the... No, I'm not going to ask that one. That's too tough. The degree of banking at Martinsville, really? What is the number of valves per cylinder in a NASCAR stock car engine? How many valves per cylinder? And now, if you've already won, don't answer the question. You can answer after the winner posts their answer. All right, thank you, Rachel. Linda says thank you. Wild guess. All right. How many valves are there per cylinder? That's one question. And the next one is... yeah, that one might be a little bit tough for y'all. What is the... Alright, what is the length of Martinsville Speedway? Or Martinsville. What is the length of Martinsville to the exact specification? Alright, what is your answer? Time to pursue your roommate. Okay, Paul, you're answering a question that... Oh, yes. Paul is correct on the, what is the number of valves per cylinder? That answer is 2. So Paul gets a prize for that win. I've already got your address. I believe you sent that to me. Alright, so Patrick, you're close. You're extremely close, but not quite. Now, maybe if you go around the outside of the fence, you might be right on that. Jersey Cape Yachts. Pretty nice of them to send me this, wasn't it? So, and by the way, this isn't necessarily a sponsored show. I just kind of did this one like impromptu, just to get out here and enjoy y'all, spend some time with you, talk to you a little bit, and try to keep it rolling on a weekly basis. I just had a lot going on this week with it being Christmas. I'm sure a lot of people are very busy, and it's one of those things. Every once in a while, I may end up, skipping the show. Tonight, I'm not having a guest. Talked about doing a few different things. Yeah, okay, Patrick, it's .526. All right, Patrick gets a prize. That's close enough. That little 600s. No, wait a minute, tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Yeah, it's .526, 526 thousandths. Yeah. What is the? No, I'm not asking another length of the track. How many laps are there in the Coca-Cola 600? Man, that's the longest race ever. Actually, it was comparable to the Dover 500, the Monster Mile 500 laps. Sure, Patrick, I can give something away for you. All right, we can do that. So let's see. Whoever gets this next one here, how many laps are there in the Coca-Cola 600? And then I'll give something away with another question for Patrick. All right. And then I'm going to get into a little bit of technical stuff. I'm going to show you what a distributor is, and you can ask me all the questions you want to ask. I'll show you what we used to run those in NASCAR, and on in the Busch Series, we still had distributors even after the Cup Series went to the EFI, electronic fuel injection. So yes, in the Busch Series, we still have distributors. All right, so how about this? What is the length of... Now, let's get into some more of these other ones here. Not even... All right, so the answer to that question, how many laps are there at the Coca-Cola 600, is 400 laps. That is correct. Yes. That's South Carolina. Pyro 864. And, yes, you are correct. And I forgot... Tell everybody what your first name is there, South Carolina. I know I've been messaging with you and such, so... Okay, which... Now, let's don't go any more length of tracks and that kind of stuff. See what else he's got in here. Yeah, Rachel, well, I like doing that too, I guess I take for granted people, maybe I think they already know what stuff is, but hey, if y'all like to hear what it is, I can get really technical on my engine stuff, as you know. I'm not going to ask that, it's too hard. How many times does Buck Baker win the Southern 500? Yeah, that might be tough too. Alright, here's one that'll probably be good. These are like personal questions. Who was known as the last American hero? Who was known as the last American hero? Okay, yeah, Ray is South Carolina Pyro. Who was known as the last American hero? That was he was a good man. Well, he was a very smart man, but you ignore stereotypes and that kind of stuff, of course, because I don't think he actually got his high school diploma, or I don't know that he even got out of, maybe he just had a grade school education, I'm not sure. So, all right, so what is your answer? Who was known as the last American hero? I should ask some of these questions whenever we have our guests in. What do you think? Yep, Junior Johnson. Rachel got it right. So Rachel, put your name down as winning a prize. All right, that'll be good. And let's see who else we got. All right, we'll come back to this. How's that sound? We'll get some more people on here. I think just about everybody answered. Everybody's going to have a prize coming in the mail. Yeah, so I didn't get to share this out tonight. I only shared it, I think I sent it to Scott and Jana, and that was about it. I don't even think I shared it on my Facebook. Oh well. That's okay. Like I said, I just wanted to get together with y'all for a little bit, go over some things, talk about a little bit of stuff going on, and that's about it for tonight. All right. So, does everybody know what a distributor is in an engine and exactly what it does? Okay, first let me ask you, what does a distributor do in an engine? Let's say a NASCAR engine. Well, in a NASCAR Busch Series engine, what does a distributor do? I'm going to put my technical hat on for a minute. In a NASCAR engine, what does a distributor do? What's up, Dawn? Well, Dawn's on here. I better put my hat back on. Dawn, sorry I didn't get to send you the link. Like I said, I was just kind of doing this impromptu, and of course I was running a little bit behind. It seems like when I'm doing it out here in my shop, I have more to set up, you know, because I don't have the studio. It's like I have to put an extra light. I have to hook up my little soundboard and my computer and phones and all that kind of stuff. So that adds to it. But I just got done playing a little game, and I'm going to play some more of it later for your chance to win a prize. But right now I'm getting ready to explain what a distributor is. Dawn, do you know what does a distributor do? Yes. Do you know what a distributor does, Dawn? I've got my yerba mate. Has anybody heard of yerba mate? Not to be confused with herba mate. It's tea. It's a healthy tea. It's got all kind of antioxidants in it. So I've been doing the healthy thing now for a little while, and it's been going good because I feel good. Got good energy. Okay, I'll go ahead and tell you. A distributor distributes electricity to the spark plugs. That is what a distributor does. So in a NASCAR racing engine, now it's all like electronic fuel injection in the Cup Series, and for each cylinder it's got its own coil that fires that cylinder. But yes, Dawn, you are correct, it does have a cap, and I'll show you a distributor with a cap. Well, I'll show you a distributor with a cap first of all. Okay, this one's got a cap and wires. Alright, so look at that big old mess. I think I was like in a hurry to yank this one out of a Chevrolet that I was working on. Anyways, this one has the coil. This one has the coil. Okay, so this is an ignition coil, and this one's built onto the cap. It's removable. The coil's underneath that. This cap comes off. There's a rotor button in there. This one's off of a Chevrolet, as I mentioned. Here's the vacuum advance. So in NASCAR, we run distributors, but we didn't have vacuum advance. We had mechanical advance, and I'll show you what the mechanical advance is. All right, so this same distributor is this right here as well. Okay, this is without the cap. This turns off the camshaft. All right, so back in the day, they used to break camshafts, like Dale Earnhardt's car. I remember one time he broke a camshaft on Chevrolets. They would just break right off there at the front. And here's an ignition module right here is where it was. This is the connector for the ignition module. This is the capacitor, and here's the reluctor in there for the, this is what, there's 8 different places. It's like a little magnet, electromagnet that goes into the, yes. And then comes up, so a lot of times these little wires inside here will get, because this advances mechanically and by the vacuum, and they'll get wore out. So the little pickup coil will go bad. And then there's a rotor that mounts on here, and that sends power to the car, to the cylinders, to 8 cylinders. So in NASCAR, I'm going to have to, yeah, Coil will light you up. I'm going to show you, this is a cap off an old tractor. So you can see the distributor is much smaller, and it's got 4 cylinders. So I'm going to go and grab that distributor right quick and show you what one looks like that we would run, similar to one that we would run in NASCAR, let's say in the Busch Series. And I just have to remember what, oh, there it is, right behind me. Alright. Okay, here we go. This one would be pretty similar to one that we would run in a NASCAR engine. And or in a Busch Series engine now. Alright, so you have the coil, you have this little Hall effect type switch here, that's got 8, alright, vanes in it, whatever. And then that's the pickup. And that's what sends the signal to the coil. So this one have an external coil, but here's the cap. And here's the rotor button that I was talking about. Here's the cap, as Dawn mentioned. Alright, so this one, you know, this one looks a lot better, and it's a billet distributor, meaning there should be another O-ring on here too, but it's machined, not cast. So Rachel says, how does it know how to time the ignition? Okay, so what you do is when this is in the car, if you want to advance the timing, let's say you got a Chevrolet engine and you want to advance the timing. Okay, the rotor, the engine's spinning clockwise. So what you'll do is you'll turn the distributor this way. Let me turn it this way so you can see, made it a little better. So if you want to advance the timing, you would go this way because the rotor's turning this way, so you're going to advance to pick it up that way. And so this one actually came out of a truck that I just worked on this morning actually, and it had a bad circuit board, which is underneath here, the controller, and I saw it had a bad. It was right before the diode; it had gotten black, like it overheated, but the diode still checked okay. So, so what I ended up doing was putting a point type. He went and got his point, because on these old pickup trucks, the distributor, you cannot fit a big HEI cap in there, so you have to get an external coil. So I ended up popping another distributor in and got, you know, the timing dialed in just right. So I used my timing light, which is sitting over here because I just used it this morning, so I'll go grab that. And then I'll show you what a distributor looks like on other cars as well, because the Ford is much shorter. What's up, Scott? You're in Jackson. Scott says, I'm going to Jackson. Scott, do you play that song while you're there with your guitar? I'm going to Jackson. So here's my timing light. It's a digital timing light. I can dial it in, and then you aim it down at the balancer, and it flashes a light, and it times in, and you hook it up to the #1 spark plug wire, and that's what you turn the distributor to get it timed just right. And it varies depending on manufacturer, and sometimes I'll set it and drive it and see how it is, because you know you got different variables as well. Sometimes the variables change by type of fuel you're using. You know, you could put higher octane gas in there, and you could run more timing. So if you ever hear popcorn in your engine, it sounds like, you know, pop, 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 pop. That's not good. That means your timing's too high, your mixture's too lean in the carburetor, and so you need to fix that before you end up with a hole in the top of the piston. Oh, the mic sounds not good. Oh, okay. Well, sorry about that. How about that, Scott? Is that better? I just turned it up a little bit. Probably because I'm a little bit further away from it. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Scott, we just played your game. And, yeah, we just played some of your game, so I was handing out prizes to the winners of that game. Or the winners of each question. Alright, so does this mic sound better now? It's kind of like a directional. You have to really talk straight into it. Okay, so how does that happen with the distributor? Well, which part, Rachel? And I'm going to show you some other distributors, some Ford. Popping sound? Okay. Alright, so is it still popping? Or is it because of my chair moving? I meant to switch chairs because this one moves around a lot and it makes that pop. So, sorry about that. Okay, so here's another type of aftermarket distributor. And this one's you know, a nicer unit. But what this is, it's got points. It's a point type, but this one actually has it's dual points. And this is probably in a lot of times in performance they put double points in the car. So Dawn says 1973 we had a Dodge station wagon with a 400 4-barrel engine, and we would have to set the timing up in the summer so the AC wouldn't cut the car off. Yes, that is true. When you increase the timing, it also increases the idle speed. Oh, the popping sound Rachel was talking about was a distributor malfunctioning. Okay, all right. So yeah, Dawn, that is true. You set the timing up and as high as you can get it, and that'll increase the idle speed. But what they do typically is, oh, okay, it's fuzzy. Yeah, I'll have to, I wonder if it's got an effect on. Let me see if it's, does that change anything? It might sound funny actually, because I do have some effects on this. And what I should do, I meant to put my earbuds in. How's that? How's that? Does that sound better? Sound better? I'll turn these off. I meant to put my earbuds in so that I can actually hear myself. But as I mentioned, I was running a little bit behind, so I didn't even get to do that. So maybe I should do that. Alright, so this is, like I said, this is a double. But what they do now, Dawn, is they put, well, I say now, on those older cars, a little bit later than 73, they started putting in a little solenoid in front of the carburetor. So whenever the signal went, whenever you had fire to the air conditioning compressor, it would also kick on the little solenoid, and that would increase the idle speed just enough. So that was it. So we could drive from Signal Hill Mall to downtown without using the accelerator. Yeah, it'll do that. So like I said, there's other ways that you can do that with that solenoid as well. And then, because what it does is that when the air conditioning's on, it bogs the engine down just enough, you know, a couple hundred RPM or so, where you might need to bump it up some. So, Ray, you just go on my website, and in the message box, as soon as you go on the website, you'll see that little box pop up. It asks for your email address. You click on that, put your email address, and then in the message, put your address, your physical address, so that I can send that to you. Alright, so Rachel was asking what was that popping sound in the distributor malfunctioning. The popping sounds like popcorn. What it is, it's called pre-ignition. So when I don't have a piston near me, but let's say my fist is a piston. Alright, so the piston's coming up in the cylinder, and when it gets near the top of the cylinder, you know, you got the cylinder head here. When it gets near the top, if it's going to fire before, you know, the spark plug is going to fire just before it gets to the top. Okay, like, you know, 10 degrees, it depending on the RPM, it could go up to 30 degrees before top dead center. And that gives it enough time to fire and start and compress, and then it just explodes and pushes the piston back down. But the problem is when you have too lean of a mixture, it's easier to ignite. And what it does is the temperatures go up, and also if you have the distributors out of time, it's advanced timing, it's going to fire that piston when it's coming up. And then it's going to like, because it's still got inertia pushing it up. So it's firing here, and all this mixture is burning, and then it's just kind of hammering on the piston. So that's not what you want. You want the momentum to keep the engine spinning. Alright. So that's the explanation for that. Years ago, Paul says, I bought a Mac Tools timing light with Advance. I used it a few times, and I never needed to use it again. Yeah, man, a timing light's, well, on newer trucks and cars, you don't need a timing light. They set it all electronically. Is how you set that. Alright. I was going to try to go ahead and plug in my mic so I could hear myself. So maybe I can figure out what's going on. I'm really used to, in the radio station, I always have earbuds or something going on so that I can hear and adjust if needed, if you can't hear me, that kind of stuff. So I can show you Ford. See how much shorter a Ford distributor is. Quite a bit shorter. This one looks pretty old. And another Chevrolet. This is another Chevrolet point type. This one says 1916 Delco. So yeah, that one's pretty old. Alright, there you have it. I got one more down there, but it's alright. See if I can get these things rigged up and working. Scott, other than Jackson, I got a text from Jana, but I already explained to her on here what's going on, and Tracy's pretty much sleeping a lot. But you know what, she typically gets sick about, I don't know, it seems like 2 or 3 times a year. Okay, the Ford one is shorter, Rachel, because the Ford one goes, different reasons, but one is that Ford goes in the front of the engine versus in the back of the engine. Why do I have so many? Yeah, that's a good question too. All right, let's see here. If I can hear myself. Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, maybe I'm in the... Oh, I'm in the wrong... No, that was right. Huh. Okay. Main power... Well, it looks like I'm not going to hear myself. Alright, so why do I have so many? Because whenever I work on stuff, a lot of times I do conversions. So I convert stuff over from one type of ignition to another. And also, whenever other people do that stuff, I collect things. So if they don't want it, I'll take it. Old parts of any kind. And I have a lot of old parts. I have even more out in my old building. Got a lot of those things. I got a lot of carburetors as well. Yeah, so these aren't working. I have quite a carburetor collection. Maybe I should show you some of those sometimes. Most of them are Holley carburetors. Alright, how's the sound? Is that any better? I didn't really do anything. If I could turn the gain up a little bit. We were here, Phil and I were here messing around with some of these effects and things. So, some of it turned... Let's see if this works. I don't know if you can hear an echo. Yes, that's correct. Yes, that's correct. You can never have enough parts. Never have too many parts. Parts are your friend. Because the thing is, when you need them, you need them. That's for sure. So, if y'all have any questions, and do y'all want to answer some more questions from the game? Turn the gain down, okay. Alright, is that better? Is that better there, Dickie? Okay. Alright, so is it harder or easier to work on an old vehicle engines? It is probably easier because there's not a lot. Alright, so back in the day they didn't have quite as many electrical things, you know. Like on the newer engines, they have, you have a knock sensor, you have oxygen sensors, you have map sensors in some, you have barometric pressure sensors, you have coolant temperature sensors, you have throttle position sensors, fuel pressure sensors. You have all of these different sensors, and so, okay. Yeah, I don't know what the feedback would be then. Dawn says hers is fine, so I don't know. Yep, so having all those sensors, okay, so, but back in the day, you didn't have all these things. And so The oldest engine I've worked on is a 47 Buick, and I'm still currently working on that. I showed you some of the parts from that engine here not too long ago, but I would say, actually no, I take that back. The oldest one is a 44 Ford engine. I don't know why I said Ford. 44 John Deere A tractor engine is the oldest one that I've worked on. And I've actually got that one apart, and it's on a tractor over here in the corner. So that's that. I wish I could hear myself, because then I could see what's going on. But do y'all hear any kind of special effects with this? Okay, your voice is clear. There's just like a static noise also. That could be static from. Yeah, I don't know what it could be from. I was going to say it could be from the fan running on my computer, but yeah, that cool. I'd love to have or see the 1944 with the racing all over the place and tracks wherever you could go. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that would have been neat back in those days. So the I think what it is, Rachel, I had turned on an effect, because I've got this board and I can do all kinds of effects. Yeah, I turned it down. Sorry. I was waiting for y'all to respond, and I forgot that I'm actually on a delay. So I'll just have to wait on the delay to go by. But by the time y'all hear this, the echo will be gone. So yeah, I was just playing around. Alright, so but my current projects now are, I have a 1980 Camaro Z28 that I'm working on, and I've got it on the lift over here. I got to pull the engine out, I got to rebuild the engine and put it back in. And the next one is I've got a 57 841 Ford tractor, and I also have a 1981 Ford 4100 tractor that I'm rewiring. So I've got to go through the whole tractor and just rewire the whole thing, because right now it's not charging, the alternator's not charging the battery, and it doesn't have power to the ignition. So I can jump to the ignition switch with a hot wire and get it running. So for whatever reason, I did find the fuse was blown, but it's something still not right. There's most likely a reason for the blown fuse. Alright, so the echoes are gone, I'm assuming, because like I said, I did that kind of playing around. So I apologize for that. That's just one of those effects, and you'll hear that in the next episode next Monday. I believe I'll be adding in an intro, and it'll have my Jersey Cape yachts that he did the voice for that kind of stuff. So my plan on this week is to get that opener ready for Racing Roots with Hamm. Rachel says 1944 was a great era. You got to, for cars, you got to love the Fords and Studebakers of the day. Yes, speaking of Studebaker, as soon as I finish this engine for this Buick, I'm supposed to be having a Studebaker engine coming in. So that one will be coming up here soon for me to work on. Alright, so how's the volume now? Is that any better? And like I said, I apologize for that not being able to hear. Just got your email there, Ray. Alright, who wants to answer another question? Alright, so let's just do it again. And if you win 2 prizes, you win 2 prizes. How's that sound? Alright. Yeah, when I get that Studebaker, I will show it to you, assuming that I get it. It just depends on if I get this other engine done. You know, because I really need to finish that one so that I can get that other one in here. You know. Where did the beer man go? He done bailed out. He don't have much to say tonight. He might have got mad about the mic. The mic not sounding good. I don't know. So I apologize for that. Hopefully. Alright, so yes, we'll ask more questions. And let's see here. Who is the... Nah, this one's too hard. Third lap. Alright. I should have had these picked out already, so next time I'll do that. A lot of those are about the Hall of Fame. Which I don't understand that because that's not the NASCAR Hall of Fame. This is, but it does say, I'll just give an example. Because this game's from back in what, 92? Which Hall of Fame car owner won 54 of 90 races he entered cars during his career? Whoa. But you'll never get this one. Never get that one. Unless you Google. Let's see, which two drivers, which two drivers share the record for the most wins on a road course? That would be a good one. So Paul says, Rachel, my dad had a Studebaker. We nicknamed it the Steady Breaker for obvious reasons. Sure. Oh, yeah. You can see some of the parts for that Studebaker. I got to clean this shelf off back here. It's got some household looking stuff stacked on top of the... Actually, it's for that 47 Buick engine. Convertible. There's the flywheel for it and the bell housing right here. The bell housing and the flywheel. And the clutch. So, yeah, this is no longer the Monster Energy series. Oh, one more thing. So we were talking about ignition coils, distributors. So this is on a newer car. This is basically what, instead of having a distributor, this is what they ended up switching to. And this would be called a integrated direct ignition system. And it's got 2 coils per pack. So this was actually called a Type 2. There was a Type 1 which had a coil on either side, or it had the ignition, whatever, leads to plug the wires on. And so this one, what it does is it fires one cylinder, it fires 2 cylinders at the same time. It's a 6-cylinder. So what it'll do is it'll fire, it's got so much power, it'll fire through one plug, go through the engine block, come through the other plug, and jump in the other direction. So these are independent coils. And what I did was I had this from back in my dealership days, and my little Lumina car that I was driving for a while, used to be my grandmother's, I needed to switch the ignition module. Here's the module. And so I did that. And you can replace one coil at a time if you need to on this type of ignition. Okay. Dawn says, I think Coil is one. That's a good guess. It was in the same, it was in that same era, that same time range as Coil. But it wasn't. It was, I'll give you one answer. It was, one was a brother of someone I had in a few weeks ago. Alright. The brother of one that I had in a few weeks ago was one. Input little USB through. Oh, I can't hear. And the other, okay. The other was, so that just tells you if you all are watching the show, I had him in 3 weeks ago, his brother. And the other one, we talked about this other one. Okay, let's say this. I used to be the jackman for his son, and I built engines for him. It's the other one. So that narrows it down to 2 people. Yep, Dawn's got one. So the other one is I used to be the jackman for his son. So who would that be? Miss Dawn. Dawn, I think you're going to get it. You just have to get it. you're that close, you just have to grab it. And he's known as the king. You're probably typing. Actually, I got to remember this is a little bit of a delay, so that should give you the answer though. So hopefully you'll have it now. And let's see here. That's the equalizer. Alright, turn that down. Huh. Oh, cut. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Okay, I gotta quit messing before I mess something up. How about this? Tell me if this changes anything. It's really not good that I can't hear myself. Next time I'm gonna do a little test and get that figured out. Okay, yes, Richard. So you got it. Richard and Bobby. Alright, Dawn got a prize. So Rachel, put that down to send Dawn a prize as well. Actually, I'll just give you that whenever I give you your other prize. I told her I'm going to be sending out the prizes once a month. So I have to do that once a month. It just makes it easier. That way I only have to go to the post office one time a month. Let's see here. Who was the sponsor of Sterling Marlin in '93? You know what though? It's funny about this card. I think it's a typo. I think it's an error. Because the first part of the answer is Ray. I'd say the first part of the answer. And y'all tell me if this is a typo as soon as you get the answer. Where's Beer Man at? So these are actually pretty decent questions here because it has to do with the sponsors. Rachel, she has all the best questions. Yeah, Rachel does do great questions. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say Rachel gets a prize as well, and I'm also going to make Rachel the Spin the Wheel prize winner, brought to you by, insert your name here, because she does a great job helping with me with all this and asking questions. So Rachel, put yourself down as the prize, the weekly prize, okay, and as a prize that you just won. But I'm going to send you one as well, and Dawn. So put Dawn down, put yourself, okay? Paul says Coors Light. No, I'll tell you the first part of that was Ray, because he didn't start driving the Coors car until '98. All right, unless, I don't think he drove it any further back that I can remember. So 1998. All right, sorry for that noise. So I know when I turned my gain down, the volume went down a little bit. But let's see, does that help? Is that better? Is that better for the volume? I also need to check my. So the answer is Ray. Yes, Ray Bestis. Okay. Now I'm going to show you the card there, Ray. Hey, how about that? Coincidentally, you got it. But I'm also going to show you this card. Let me go to my audio mixer and see how my volume is. Is this turned all the way up? Okay. I'm going to show you the card here. And while I'm showing them this, y'all think about this other one. Who is the sponsor? Hold on. Who was the sponsor for Harry Gant in '93? 1993, Harry Gant. Alright. And so, yeah, here it is. Here's the first one there, Ray. Can you see that? It's the bottom one. So that should be one word, because that was a brake company called Ray Bestis. So thought that's kind of funny. Paul, that's a good guess. Rayovac actually sponsored one of Sterling Marlin's Busch Series cars that I jacked for. I still got a shirt that says Rayovac. But no, we're talking about Harry Gant here. What sponsor was he best known for? Harry Gant. Yes. Which sponsor was Harry Gant best known for in his career, I would say? Well, yeah. Most of his career. And it was when he drove the car sponsor. It was Hal Needham and Burt Reynolds owned that car from, let's see, what, 1982 to 88? 81 to 88. I think that's correct. Yeah, 81 to 88. You know what, Dawn? I actually thought about doing some a Zoom call and doing this. I think we should do that. I think that's a great idea. Yes. Heart Rate Fan for Life says Skull, and you are correct. That was the Skull car. Yep, the Skull car. So go to my website, DHammiam.com, and click on that box that pops up asking for your email address. I'm not going to wear you out with emails, I promise that. But what I want to do is get your address, and what I'll do is start sending prizes. You know, because every Monday night when I have my show and you win a prize, then I'll have your email address and your home address as well, and you'll have mine. Yes, Paul, that's right. So Rachel put down Heart Rate Fan for Life. And make sure you tell us your real name. Tell Rachel your real name if she doesn't know already. Yeah, and Linda got it right too. So Rachel says, what was your favorite sponsor, David? I miss Winston sponsoring NASCAR. I liked Sprint too. I liked Winston, of course, because when I first got into NASCAR and my whole life, it was always the Winston. You know, since as far back as I know, ever knew it was Winston Cup. Winston Cup Series. I mean, I think before that they actually had it Grand National. I know it ended up Grand National Busch Series or Busch Grand National Series. But but as far as sponsors on teams that I worked for, let's say teams that I jacked for, I liked the Coors Light. Actually, the Coors Original. I think that was a very cool, nice looking car. Well, the Coors Light one was as well. But when I first started in NASCAR, I think the coolest car that I ever was worked around in NASCAR was the Mellow Yellow car. So I probably should say that would be my favorite sponsor because I think that's the coolest car. Paint scheme. It's between that one and the Haviland car of Davey Allison. And I'm kind of mixed on the Haviland car being the one with the 92 car. I'm sorry, not it's the 28 car, but in 1992, the white hood on the car. That was a beautiful looking car. And then the later years, the Haviland colors. So if you ever notice my racing rigs with Hamm, my colors are those Haviland colors. And I'm actually I have a design for a shirt if anybody would be interested, but I don't really have it together yet. I've got my Hamm the Engine Man stuff, but what I have is a racing roots with Hamm. And so if you go back and watch this video, maybe I've got it on here by now, right up here or up here. I'll have the card pop up and it'll have a racing roots with Hamm link if you like one. Yeah, I like the Haviland cars too. Oh yeah, the Days of Thunder. You know what? That's good that you say that, Dawn, because the Days of Thunder movie, I was already had my mind set that I was going into NASCAR. But when that movie came out, that was like solidified. I mean, I already knew it. And my friend Dean got that for me. He was in college with me, and he knew I wanted to get in NASCAR, and he did also. And he bought me that movie on VHS. And I absolutely loved it. I was like, you know what, that's going to be me. That's going to be my career. Get out there and hang around all those cool people in NASCAR. And see, my first track experience was in 1990 at Concord Speedway. And, you know, when Dale Jr. was racing and all that. But when I would go to the racetracks in Charlotte and Darlington and Rockingham, I always got free tickets from the dealership I worked at back then. So I would drive to Darlington, Rockingham, and Charlotte, of course, and I would see Jeff Gordon racing when he was in that, I guess that would have been the Carolina Ford #1 and a Baby Ruth. It was also Rob Moroso, but they were, you know, two young and up-and-coming drivers back then. But I always thought, you know, Jeff Gordon started about the same time that I did, and it was cool that, you know, we actually retired about the same time from it. Pretty close. I think he followed my lead on that, or did I follow his lead? Yes, always liked Jeff. I mean, he was the competitor to Earnhardt, of course. That's not why necessarily, but it's because he's about the same age as me, and we, like I said, we kind of shared that history of getting into NASCAR about the same time. So, and we had the same mustache back then. It was kind of like this, but it was thin and because it wouldn't grow any thicker, you know. Just like me trying to grow a beard, it's like have a little bald spot here, all naturally, like Joe Dirte. Yes. Yeah, the Havoline cars were great. The red and the black and that yellow. So what I did with my brand colors for DHammiam and Racing Roots was I took those colors, even down to the Havoline red, and I kind of mixed in the male yellow, and then a black, of course, and that's the colors I used. Jeff Burton drove the Baby Ruth car too. Yep, so Jeff Gordon drove that car, and it was the one car, and it was Bill Davis racing, and my former engine builder Keith Simmons was the engine builder for that Baby Ruth car, and Ray Evernham was the crew chief, and Ray and Jeff jumped ship on Bill Davis and went over to Hendricks, which was like, wow, Bill put all this time into Jeff Gordon and he just bailed on him. Kind of similar to Casey Kane and Robert Yates over there. Very similar thing happened. Yeah, that was the all wannabe Dale mustache. That's right. There was a lot of people that had that back then, that old big old thick mustache, but I could never grow mine that much. Plus I still can't. I mean, I could, but I just think I can't stand all that. Yeah, in the Busch Series, that's right, Paul. That was the Busch Series. And then, of course, you had Rob Moroso. There was two different, let's see, he had the 20 car, and it was, what was his? So Phil Parsons also drove the same sponsored car, but his was the 55, and Rob's was the 20, and it was a blue color, red, white. What was that sponsor? It was like a gas station. Gosh, Phillips or something like that. It was just so it's been so long ago, and that's one of the ways I got through college, was just to always remember these numbers and put the image with the car to try to remember any answer on any test that I took, and it worked out because I ended up getting pretty much straight A's through college, and even in physics. Now physics, I did have a little bit of an advantage because it was always multiple choice, and we had the questions in the back of the book, and so I would just memorize it, and I would memorize it by car number. So, you know, if the teacher would call it the question, and I already had it in my head, A, B, C, or D, before he even finished the question. Sitco on Burton's 99 car. Yes, that was the Sitco car, and that one went back to, let's see, 99 with Burton, and before that, Kyle Petty drove different. That would it have been the Wood Brothers back in the day, the 21. No, Kyle's number was a 42. It does seem like there was a 21 Sitco. I don't know, man. When I hear these numbers and names, it just I'm like Rain Man. So yeah, Rachel says, Dawn, you should see there's a guy who looks almost identical to Dale Sr. who walks around Charlotte Motor Speedway. Yes, that guy. There's actually different lookalikes, and my son got his picture with one of them. And I know Phil, it's like, yes. His name starts with his last name starts with a B. It's let's see, All right, let me see. I'm not going to be able to find it. Gosh, man, but that's going to drive me crazy. Phil, you see, I got my Jersey Cape Yachts sweatshirt on. This tonight isn't a sponsored event, though. This is just me hanging out with y'all. But I'm showing off our sponsor still, because I got my mug here. It's got my Yerba Mate tea in it, not to be confused with Yerba Mate. Yeah, Kyle in Richmond when Dale and Walter wrecked. Kyle was in the 21 car. Okay, yeah, there you go. That was it, the Sitco car too, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so let's see, Dale Earnhardt look-alike, and I'm friends with one of them. That's why I just really want to know. And I think his name's Bob Brinkerdale or something like that. That's what it is. Yes. And I was standing there. Yeah, it's something like that. So I'm not even gonna keep looking anymore. It's Bob Brinkerdale. I was standing there at Homestead with Kerry Earnhardt and his wife. Let's see, who was his wife? Renee? It doesn't matter. All right, I was standing there with them, and this guy walked by, and he looked just like Dale Earnhardt, and had the glasses on, the big mustache, the whole deal. And he didn't realize that was Kerry. We're just kind of standing here talking. We're back in the pits because he was actually going to be driving that car the next year. It would have been 2002. He would have been driving for Armando Fitz. Actually, Terry Bradshaw, part owner of that car, and Terry comes to some of the races with us. So I was standing back here, and the guy walks by, and then Kerry just kind of looks over at me and shaking his head. You know, it's like he didn't really appreciate it. And then, but he said, yeah, there'll never be another. So, yeah. So tell the babe in the manger story, David. Dawn, so I guess you won't get to hear me in action tomorrow night because we were going to do a Christmas story. The greatest story ever told is what I ended up calling it. You know, we're going to do like we did a rehearsal on Sunday. We had our performers there singing, Jason and Danny, Stephen playing the bass, and me, or I should say Dawn, and Keith and I were doing the readings. And so there's one of the readings where it talks about, I don't have my book with me, so I didn't memorize it because we didn't get that far, where then the wise men see the babe swaddled in clothes, whatever, swaddled in sheets. And I said, I changed it to baby because I was like, I couldn't say babe without laughing. So anyway, I would just be like, yeah, I couldn't say the babe. I think it was the babe because different things. All right, you think about the babe. All right, I probably shouldn't get into that too much. Well, you think about Babe Ruth, the babe. All right, I know Jesus was the original babe, but I don't know. It just sounds funny calling it a baby. Like, do you say I'm holding the babe when you're rocking a babe? Do you put the babe in the cradle? You know, do you rock the babe to sleep, or do you rock the baby to sleep? All right, so I'm trying to justify that. Rachel says that's sad to hear about Kerry. I think he would be happy about how much his dad's remembered and honored. And Rachel, you are correct. That's exactly what I thought too. And yeah, so whenever Blaze Alexander passed away in, 2000, so I guess it would have been right before that year. When Kerry flew me up to we flew in Earnhardt's plane to the funeral in Pennsylvania, and Kerry, when he first saw me at the airport, he was just like, he's like, I'm sorry, because he ended up winning the race. You know, long story there. He ended up winning the race, and the Blaze hit the wall and ended up dying from that crash. And so Kerry, though, we talked quite a bit at the funeral, the memorial service, the visitation the night before. We talked about his dad, and his dad had just passed away, you know, not too long before that. And so yeah, this was 2001, and so yeah, October to be exact. And so this was not, you know, that long after Dale Earnhardt Sr. passed away at Daytona, and he was talking to me about it, and he ended up, it was just too hard for him. He didn't come to the funeral the next day. So all right, so do you use the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Airport? Yes, that is correct, Linda. And I know that's about where you live, and Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. Wait a minute, Scranton's different than Wilkes-Barre. Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. Yes, I know. That's where I was getting confused with you every time, because I was like, okay, we fly into Pocono, we would fly into the Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. Okay, yes. So that's about where Linda is up there. Her and Patrick up in there. But I was trying to remember the name of the airport down in Alabama, because, you know, we flew into Talladega, but we used to fly in right there at the racetrack. But we ended up moving because, you know, the whole blowing the windows out in the terminal episode. I know y'all heard that story. Yep, so that's that. What else we got? Let's go with this question here. Who was the sponsor for Dale Earnhardt in 1993? These are all 1993 apparently. Who was the sponsor for Dale Earnhardt? Now I could split this up into different things because, of course, I don't know if he had that in 93. Let's say this. Who was the sponsor for Dale Earnhardt in 1996? Okay. It's the same sponsor. But he also had, in the Busch Series, he had AC Delco. But this is not AC Delco. This is another sponsor as well. I should say this is in the Cup Series. This Yeti thing that Jersey Cape Yachts. It's Jersey Cape Custom Yachts sent me this Yeti, and it keeps that tea hot. I keep burning my mouth on that just about. Yep, GM Good Wrench is the sponsor on that car, and I would go talk to. I was good friends with Tony Erie Sr., and I knew Tony Erie Jr., but not as good as Senior back then, about 1995. I've known Tony Senior since probably 1989, and so I would go talk to him quite a bit at the racetrack every time they were racing in the Busch Series, because Tony Senior was Dale Earnhardt's Busch Series crew chief, and they had their shop. They had DEI, Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, there on the highway. It used to be called Highway 136 when they built it, and they changed it to Highway 3. Alright, and Dale Earnhardt, so here's the Cup shop, and then Dale Earnhardt's house was right here beside it in a little gate, and then to the right was the Busch Series shop that Tony Erie Sr. and Tony Jr. worked in that shop. But a lot of people don't realize that Tony Sr., he won, they won like 8 races at Daytona in that Busch Series before Sr. won his first Daytona 500. NASCAR Trivia Pursuit game. Oh, Trivial Pursuit from the early 90s. Yes. This game, okay, so in case you missed it, Dawn missed the beginning of the show, was Scott Trevison's game back in, it's called High Banks. Alright. This was his game that he ended up selling, or somehow it ended up transferring, I think, to Felix Abatis. I'll have to have Scott tell you that story again. But here's the board for it. Then it has the Sandwich construction on it. Try to get it in the camera. Yeah. So I was showing that at the beginning of the show. So basically it's a board game that has all the different questions in it. And you roll the dice and figure out how many places you move on the board game. So yeah, it's from the early 90s. I guess it'd have been from 1993. Yeah, Dawn says I want one. It's yeah, it's a pretty cool game. Some of the questions are outdated, of course. I have to kind of scan through them. Scott's got some left. I don't know if he's going to sell them or what he's planning to do with them. I got this one. He gave it to me, and like, you know, here's the name the hometown of Ken Schrader. I was kind of liking these questions about who was the sponsors. I bet I could ace, I mean flat out ace those questions, and the name, who was the sponsor and the number on the car. Yeah, I could do that. So let's see here, we got, alright, I was looking for some more of those questions. Well, thank y'all for hanging out with me this evening. Having a good time. Because, you know, it's just, what, 2 days before Christmas? Yeah. Whichever. So, tomorrow night, I believe I'm going to go up to the studio and play. So, if you want to check it out, it'll be on WAMEradio.com tomorrow evening around 7:30. I'm going to go up there and play the replay of last week's Christmas show on Facebook. So I'll play that on the radio, and I'll probably repost it on Facebook on our page as well. So it will just be, we'll just be doing the show there, or playing the replay. But it was so good. It was Clay Lunsford and Tennille Sherrill and Scott Lunsford, Dirk Dowell on the, I should say what instruments they're playing. Clay Lunsford's a finger picking guitar. Scott Lunsford plays the bass. Tennille Sherrill sings really, really great. And Dirk Dowell plays the fiddle, violin. He's in Rocky Lynn's band, but he's also in this one. And let's see who else we had. Clay Lunsford. Oh, Matthew Weaver, who plays the keyboard. He doesn't read sheet music. He's been playing since he was 3 years old, and he just sits there and just, I mean, just goes to town. Who was Rick Hendricks' first driver? How about that? Who was Rick Hendricks' first driver? And I'll tell you what, I remember this car with this driver. It was the Levi Garrett sponsored, and it was the 5 car, and it had a gold star on the side. So there you go. Tell me who your guess is on that. See if you can answer this evening's impossible question. If y'all don't listen to me on the radio, that's one of our things we do. We do it every morning at 8:10. It's the impossible question. Your chance to win, your opportunity to win valuable prizes. Okay, yes, Jeopardyne is the answer, Bob Patterson. Welcome to the Racing Roots with Hamm, Bob Patterson. We're talking about telling a little bit of old stories in NASCAR. And I want to know, Bob, who is your, oh, Rachel, put Bob down as a winner. And Bob, go on to my website and click the little red thing that pops up asking for your email address. And also put your address, your physical address, into the message box on after you put your email address on there. Alright, do that. So we'll get you a prize in the mail. What I'm going to do, okay, I guess I could show you what my prizes are. I almost forgot about this. Dawn says Tim Richmond because Days of Thunder. Oh. No, but that's a good guess. No, that was just, you know, they did that because of Tim Richmond, the movie, you know, and Harry Hyde, that kind of stuff. But you know, which was his crew chief at one time. But, you know, a lot of people probably watch that and they think, man, that looks like a Jeff Gordon story, kind of, you know. And it really does. It's almost like weird how it happened. The movie was around 1990, and which is about the same time Jeff actually got into, you know, racing in the Busch Series. So, which we were hitting on that earlier, but very instrumental movie. So what I'm going to do is I've got a lot of these different cards, and some of them I've got extras. Some of these cards right here. If y'all remember these. So what I'm going to do is I'll pick one of these cards that I have. These are the Max Racing series. This is actually a Gary Nelson one from 90. You know, these were really popular in the early 90s. Pretty much early 90s. And so I've got a bunch of these, and I've got some extras. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send y'all one of these prizes. Well, you know what, Bob, that's okay. I'm an old crew guy, and I can win. He says I'm an old crew guy, so I should not be eligible. That's okay, buddy. We're all race fans. You were a race fan, too. So you were good. Bob traveled with me on the, let's see, Joe Nemechek's team. And some of those teams. See, I even got this one right here, which is a really nice card. That, and I've got this one, and I actually just found a picture in this too. Alright, there's one of Kyle. So I've got albums of these as well, but they're the ones that have the they're like raised, you know, design on them. So anyway, I'm not gonna look through all these because I've got a lot of them. But the other thing, I just found this picture someone sent me, and I can tell you this story if you want to hear it. I got my eyes shut for some reason, but so this person's name, y'all know what year? Tell me what year you think this was. All right, Paul says that the car number was 7. Oh, but they fudged in the 11 because of the store. Okay. Okay. The 7-11. That. You're right. Okay. When Kyle had the number 7-11, I remember that because of the Sitco's association with 7-11. Yeah. Stores. It was a Wood Brothers car. I do, and I'm thinking that I know one time I was talking to Kyle, and he said he was asking, did I have anything with him when he was with the Wood Brothers? Actually, you know what? He was doing this Facebook Live, and he said, does anybody out there have anything from when I was with the Wood Brothers? And then I texted him or commented on there. It's been a couple years ago. And I said, I do. And he said, of course you do, Hamm. So, I do. It's a clock, actually. It's a really nice clock. My son took it out and put it in his bedroom. So, yeah. You remember back in the... Oh, yeah, that was Mike Atwell. Sorry. I put that picture away. I didn't finish telling my story. So, yeah, Bob remembers Mikey. Mikey went on to change tires actually he changed tires for Jeff Gordon. He was always the baby face looking guy. Yep. So after this, he was an aspiring wannabe tire changer back then. He pretty much helped with the pit setup and helped work on the car, stuff like that. He's still around. Last time I saw him was at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and he was there to, I think he was changing for Jeff Gordon that day. And then he was kind of, in his later years, he was just kind of changing for different people and kind of filling in, stuff like that. But that particular day, so, oh, you see the shirt that she's wearing, right? That shirt right there, move my finger so you can see. Well, went the wrong way. That shirt that she has on is my team shirt. Still can't see. It has the Team Savco logo on it, which you can't see. because it's pressed up against me there. And so what happened there was we wrecked there, and Kyle Petty hit the wall, ended up breaking his leg or his ankle or something. He was out. He was out of the race. He was out for a lot of that year. And yep, it was 1996, Phil. You're right, Phil Cavalli. And he was running, I believe he was running second at the time. And he just creamed the wall, just tore the car all to pieces, come back home in a rollback. So we ended up spending the rest of the day hanging out in the gift shop there in Indianapolis. Me and Mikey did. We walked over there. I didn't have any money, and so we pretty much talked our way into letting us in. I was married then. I didn't ever have any cash on me. So, but I did have a shirt, and I said, I want a t-shirt. And the lady working the counter, her name was Donna Stroud, she said, I don't know, maybe I said it, I'll trade you your shirt. I said, because I'm sure you probably get that for free, so I'll trade you my shirt, which was my race day shirt. I knew I had two of them, and it was just red with the team, our new Team Sabco instead of Sabco Racing. We switched over in '96, and so she ended up going in the back there, and she swapped shirts. Now I don't know how I took mine off at the same time. No, what I did was I went and put my pit crew shirt on. No, I had the red shirt in my bag. I still have my pit crew shirt on because we just pretty much got right out of there, didn't change or whatever. And we didn't have to change after the race. We just wear our race days. We just had to make sure it got back on the truck so that they can take it and the company could wash it. So we swapped shirts, and I ended up with a t-shirt, which my next ex-wife threw out years later, I'm assuming. So y'all remember going to the downtown Charlotte? They would always have, I believe that's where this was, I think, they would always have the little parades. Yeah, they would. So that was what these were from. And next time I'll try to have some pictures loaded in the computer to show you. But anyway, there's their show cars. I don't remember who even took the pictures. I remember this was the Bullseye. This probably maybe Jeff Bound. I don't know. This was probably Brett Bodine. Yeah, Jim Bound. That's what I meant. And this was Michael Waltrip, of course. Yeah. So I've got all this. I've got a lot of these kinds of things like stuffed in shoe boxes and stuff like that. I'm sure Phil probably has a whole lot more pictures than I do, because you know that's what Phil did for a living there. Yep, sure did. We were talking about the Ray Bestis car. Okay, so this kind of proves that it's Ray. It's not two words. It's one word. So I found an error in that game. I'm gonna have to tell Scott about that. This was the Ray Bestis car when Starlin drove it. And Phil, is that Renee Cope? It's hard to tell. She ended up marrying Derek Cope. I'm not sure. It does look like her though. Oh, and she was also she was with Kyle Petty's fan club. Now Jimmy Spencer's sister took care of the fan club, but Renee, I think she did something with Kyle. Yep, Michael Waltrip there, Linda. So Phil says old Speed Street. That's what it was. Exactly. Downtown Charlotte, Speed Street. Bob Patterson says, I remember coming to see that car that wrecked at Indy. I was helping out down the street with Jay Salter, the 42 truck. Yeah, I remember that truck. Was that the Coors Light truck? I believe so. I think it was our sponsor then. That was we had the super trucks back in the day. And that was when they first started that truck series, from what I remember. But I remember them racing the big rigs back in the day down at Charlotte. So yeah, Phil says they used to have concerts, all kinds of drivers and autographs. Yes, they did. Well, thank you, Don, for joining us tonight. He says had to pop off. Here's old Barry Dotson, my buddy Barry, passed away a couple years ago. What a great guy he was. I remember last time I saw him was up at the, well, I saw him a couple times. He was going to see his nephew play basketball. Merry Christmas to you, Dawn. Thank you. And he was going to see his nephew play basketball in Winston-Salem. And then the next time I saw him was up at Taco Bell. And he said that he was like, you know what, it's really good to see you. And I messaged him after that. I was like, hey, let's get together sometime. But so here's Bobo. Y'all remember Bobo? And if you remember Bobo, what is he doing now? I thought I remembered. I ain't gonna say it. Yeah, Merry Christmas to. She said, "Merry." I didn't even realize you mistyped it. Merry Christmas to all the ham. Yeah, I get it. I understand. Trust me. My phone doesn't like whenever I don't know. Siri doesn't understand me at all. Oh, we were talking about Tony Uri earlier. There's old Tony Uri. I'll tell you what, if he ain't a good old boy, I don't know who he is. Oh, Tony's a good guy. I need to get him on the show. You know, get him out. I may have to go see him. I think I'll just plan to do that sometime. I'll send him a message. Hey, how about coming on the show? And I'm gonna get some new microphones though. I probably should get like three good microphones. That way Phil could join in, and I'll have some good ones. But here's our buddy Bill Engel. You're talking about Michael Waltrip earlier. There he is. I've had Bill on here a couple times. Need to get him back on again. Yep. Yeah, that would be cool. Look at this. I got 2 of these Davey Allison cards. Oh, maybe I got 3. Oh, let's see here. No, just 2. Just 2, but 2's better than none. Look at that. 2 of these cards. Oh, so Bob says unsponsored truck only ran unlimited with Jay and Brad Nossinger. Yeah, I remember Brad. He was the old sprint car driver. And that boy, we went to a go-kart track, went to a slick track. It was Victory something down there. I think it was Lance Norrick's track down in Charlotte. And Brad Nossinger. I thought, you know what, I'm doing good. It was either that or the pit. It might have been the pit in Mooresville. Not the pit. Whatever. There was a go-kart track. And it was a slick track. I think it was the one down at Lance Norrick. And we go in there riding around, and I'm thinking, you know what, I'm kicking butt. I'm doing good. And then here comes Brad just lapping me in no time. So, he was good. So, yeah. But later on, they did have this I think the first super trucks were probably Jay Sauter was our driver, and I think he was yeah, it was a Coors truck though. I remember that. It might have been a different year. Must have been a couple of Dale Jarrett ones here, because it was painted up just like our '96 Coors Light, unless they just painted it and didn't put a sponsor on it. I don't know. Oh, I got some Dick Trickle cards. There's 2 different ones of him. So. We all know he's passed away now. Another one just like it. Well, so anyway, y'all have a Merry Christmas, and we'll get together next week. Probably have, hopefully, I'll be able to go in the studio and do my guest next week and all that. Let's see, we got Yoder, who is he was Amish. And yeah, the Davey Allison cards are like super cool, very cool. And so Phil, it's one of Phil's friends that we're gonna have on. He was Amish, so that's gonna be interesting to hear his stories of how he got into NASCAR, coming from an Amish. Oh, same color, no sponsor. Okay, Bob, you must be right then. I guess that was the deal. They just painted it the same. And didn't put a sponsor on it, so learn something all the time. Because that's been a long time ago, 25 years ago, thereabouts. Thought I just saw a Donnie Ellison card. I probably got a lot of Donnie Ellison cards. Marlon Yoder, that's it. I don't know how I could. He's the 48 car setup guy. So Phil, I guess he still goes with the 48 car, I'm assuming. Yeah, thanks, Dickie. You know, it's funny. I can sit here and just start looking through stuff, and then it's kind of like they just start coming. I start remembering things, more stories than I had before, I guess, or just, you know, they're in there. Sometimes you just have to pry them out of me, but they are in there. Well, y'all have a good one, and go back on here, and I always ask this, go back on and ask questions or whatever you got. If you think of something you want to make a comment, come back on. I know Chad does quite a bit, Chad Howder. He couldn't join us tonight, but he had something going on. And oh yeah, that's a good idea, Tracy. Play My Hat is the closing song. There's my buddy Hut Strickland. I need to get him on here. He's always working though. Seems like I can't ever get him on here. So this is going to be my Merry Christmas to y'all. I am Santa's elf. I don't remember the words, but anyway. Santa's elves. Ho, 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 ho. We are Santa's elves. Ho, ho, ho. All right, very good. Thank you for joining us tonight. Linda Jinks, Rachel, Tracy Hamm, Rachel Robin, I said Dickie Dennis, and everybody else that's been on here. Phil Cavalli, he says Marlon could not wait until he could get into racing. He is going to be with the 5 and Kyle Larson in 2021. Very nice. That'll be good. I'm so glad to see Kyle Larson coming back in the sport. I think he's just a tremendous talent, and looking forward to seeing what he can do next year. Kind of wish he would have got on the Ford camp, but I know there's another story to that, but who knows what the future holds. So we shall see, and look forward to next Monday night with Marlon Yoder joining us. And so we'll hear some Jimmy Johnson stories, I'm sure, and we'll learn some secrets about his setups with Jimmy Johnson. So check out my Facebook page, Racing Roots with Hamm, where every day there's a post about racing tracks, histories, and you'll see some pictures of me on there as well, different things. My website, DHammiam.com. I'll be doing my other website, Hamscapes. But most importantly, hit that bell notification so you can stay tuned every Monday night when we go live. Phil Cavalli will be with me. Hopefully next Monday everything will work out and we'll be back together again, and we'll have a good time there talking NASCAR, talking racing roots with our guests. And we got some great ones coming up here in 2021, and also we have our Jersey Cape Yachts sponsor, and we're going to keep that rolling with them throughout 2021. And so check them out. I didn't put their number on here. This isn't necessarily a sponsored show. This is kind of a freebie, but we're just rolling with it. We appreciate them coming on board. You know, we want to keep I just wanted to get on here tonight and kind of go over next week's show and go over some of the different things that's going on here, and get ready for Christmas and tell y'all a Merry Christmas. We just ended up talking a little bit longer, but that's great. I could talk all night about this stuff. But thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see y'all next Monday. Have a great Christmas. Merry Christmas.